what?
All right, everybody. What? Car's coming. I'm gonna put this video up on both channels.
Watch right here, Will. It's really dangerous.
You know, I'm gonna be very, very careful here. There's a picture right there of William Brand Langford. If you watch the other video, y'all will have seen it. If not, then you just saw it. That is our first. He is expected to be here not July. I'm thinking the Dad's birthday there.
You got it.
Okay. He should be here January the 29th. And so that is why that there hasn't been too many videos as of late, as we've been doing a lot of stuff getting ready for Willie B, as his granny and his nana want to call him. We're getting ready for him to get here. So videos have been a little bit sparse, so I just wanted to give a little update on that. And I haven't had a whole lot of time to edit the sermon videos. Like I said, this is going up on both of my channels. There's a couple of things that I would like to, or one thing I'd really like to discuss, and this kind of goes into the thing about being a parent. I was on Facebook this morning looking at the news feed, and Action News 5 had a story up about a youth minister's wife who was in an inappropriate relationship with a 17-year-old boy. And it brings to mind a lot of cases that have been reported as of late in regards to sexual predators and stranger danger and stuff like that, especially being people in places of authority. And I've done a lot of research into it, and the whole concept of the stranger danger is really a myth that's been purported and has been spread by parents. And it's very akin to Chicken Little, being the sky is falling. Because it's like when you think of stranger danger and you think of child abductions, you think of the creepy 40, 50-year-old man in a van being staked out at playgrounds and parks and schoolyards, and I got some candy. And I'm laughing because one of my friends shared a video with me as a Vine video. This dude was up in a white van. There's an actress playing as a girl that's skipping. It's supposed to be like an elementary school girl. It's like, I got free candy. She just keeps on. He's like, I got free Wi-Fi. And she's like, what's your password? And he slams the trunk down. So, I mean, but the whole concept behind that, really, if you look at the facts, and when I say statistics are based in facts. So when you look at the facts, when you look at the statistics and you crunch the numbers down, it's like up to 90% in most cases, the person who abducts the child, who molests the child, who neglects the child, and abuses the child, are trusted friends, family members, officials. And so it's like you see an old dude just sitting in a park with a cup of coffee and he looks suspicious, and so people get all up in arms. And there was actually a case. There was an elderly guy, didn't seem to have any kids. He was sitting in a park watching kids play, and it turns out that he was one of the kids' granddads that nobody even really knew, because he just kept to himself. But people were getting all up in arms. They were wanting to call the police on him. This guy is suspicious. We can't have him around our children. And here he is. He's perfectly harmless. And yet, time after time, you hear about these people in official capacity doing harm to kids. And just,
or family members
doing harm to the kids. I mean, you can read case after case of people who get divorced, and one parent who doesn't have custody refuses that he'll take the kids for his time or her time, and he or she won't give them back. They'll take off with them and stuff like that. And so you get this whole thing down where that it's paranoia. It's borderline paranoia. And when you look at the definition of paranoia, it's irrational fear. And so you have all these people that are given over to this irrational fear where they don't even want to let their kids go outside and play because they're worried about the creepy dude in the van snatching them up who doesn't even exist. That's like 1% of the cases out there. And yet time after time you read of these youth ministers, preachers, their wives getting all involved in crazy stuff. And I think it is a huge denial of reality for parents to, and I can actually speak as a parent now because my child, even though he's in the womb, that makes me a dad. And so, but this whole thing that parents get into, the stranger danger, and then it's like, oh, go ahead and go with this preacher, or this youth minister, or Uncle Bob. You know, you have nothing to worry about with them. Well, statistically, you have more to worry about from Uncle Bob than you do from the creepy looking dude who's just sitting there on a park bench minding his own business. And think of the denial of reality. You know, that it's like, here you are, you're supposed to be protecting your kids, and you're telling them it's okay to go with these people. And I actually looked it up. There's an article where they interviewed several child predators, sexual predators. Well, not just child predators, but sexual predators. This includes people who prey on adults as well as children. And you'll never believe where the number one place that predators love to lurk in. It's not hanging out at the parking lot looking all creepy. They love to infiltrate churches. And they've actually said that it's because that Christians are naive. They're trusting. And it brings back to mind something that one of my teachers back at preaching school said. He gave us an illustration, and it's like, when you think about it, everybody is like a city, and it's like a fortified city, and everybody has walls. Well, there's certain places where your walls are the strongest, and then certain parts where people have weaknesses is where the walls are the thinnest and the weakest. And you see, the enemy, in his illustration, it's Satan. He's not gonna attack where the walls are thick. He's going to attack where it's thin. And it's like, that's where these child predators are. That's where these sexual predators are. And the problem is, everybody's stationing all their guards where the walls are the thickest. And so it's totally crazy. You know, as a parent, I'm not going to be afraid to. I'm going to be outside watching my kid as he plays, because that's just part of being a good parent. Now, in fact, I'm going to be playing catch with him and stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm going to be interacting with my kid. That's what being a good parent is interacting with your child. But they've said, actually, on these articles that I've read, that it's good to have a family password. And our family password is, wouldn't you like to know? It's for me to know and you to find out. But they say it's good to have a family password. And they say it's good to teach your children certain things to look out for, rather than stereotyping just anybody. Teach your child to watch out for certain questions. Teach your child to trust their instincts. If they feel nervous and they don't, then to turn and run. The biggest case I have behind this is there is this one set of parents, they instilled it in their kids so much to never talk to strangers under any circumstances. He was in Scouts. He got lost, and they were on a hike. He got lost, and they would have found it, and they found him alive, thankfully, but they would have found him a lot sooner if he would have answered the calls of the very strangers that his parents told him to avoid, because it was a rescue party trying to find him. So, parents, let's quit giving into this paranoia. Let's quit giving into this fear. Let's educate ourselves and educate our children. Now, one other thing too on this video, and forgive the somberness and the sweet potatoes. Forgive the somberness and the seriousness of the video. This really is really doesn't fit necessarily the Junkrin style, but like I said, I'm gonna put it up on both videos because there is the update as to why I haven't been making a whole lot of videos as of late. But then there's also this thing from my life. When I was in high school, I had a teacher by the name of Edward Smith. We just always called him Mr. Smith. It was in Fayette-Ware High School. And he was my U.S. government teacher. And he recently passed away, and we are heading to the visitation that's going to be this evening. And Mr. Smith, he was one of those teachers who was more than just a teacher. He was a mentor. He was a friend. He obviously loved his students, and he loved teaching because he taught for over 40 years. If I remember correctly from what I read, he taught for 43 years. He was going on his 44th year teaching, and he stayed in one school district. He stayed out at Fayette-Ware at the high school. That's where he taught for 40 years. And he was one of my favorite teachers, if not my favorite teacher. And there's a lot of people that feel the same way that I do, because not often do high school teachers make such an impact on your life that you wind up going to their visitation / funeral when they pass away. And so he's going to be missed. He was an excellent teacher, and I still remember he had it down just perfect on being able to call students bluffs. There's a lot of people that have a lot of fond memories of him. And so I'm wanting to go and and just pay my respects, so to say. And anyway, we're going to that. One thing too, I'm kind of disappointed at the high school because after he did pass away, they didn't put any sort of thing up paying any respects to him. It's like just, oh well, he passed. So I'm gonna wrap this video on up. Now we're going to that. And so I will catch you later.